Hello, preparedness people, and welcome to the Biggs Prep, or welcome back. My name is Cynthia, and today we're going to go to Rural King. I know a lot of you down in the comments section are talking about using your local feed store and places like Rural King, Tractor Supply for feed, animal feed, things like that. So Mr. Biggs and I went to Rural King to check it out. We're going to take you with us. If you're ready, press the like button right down there. And let's go. Stay tuned at the very end of this video for a full tour of the chick area at Rural King, my favorite part. Coming up to the entrance of Rural King, Ocala, Florida, they have some plants out, and some of these are actually vegetable starters. We decided to check out some prices for this curled leaf parsley. $12. $12 for a tiny little pot of parsley start. This plant is almost a gallon size tomato starter, $20. You would do way better to get some seeds and start them yourself. $4.88 for a tomato seedling. A whole pack of seeds is around $3, and you could have an entire field of tomato plants. If you remember my 50 things you should stockpile video, I mentioned work gloves, and guess what? These work gloves are in short supply here at Rural King in Ocala, Florida. I was really shocked to see how low their supply is. Another thing was boots and warm socks. The boot section was really empty. I have never seen Rural King look like this. Their boot and shoe aisles are 3 full aisles, and you can see that there are gaps in stock. They had a lot of odd-sized shoes and boots, but not a lot of the common sizes. I definitely need to look at Mr. Biggs and my boots to make sure that we have what we need. Next up is the automotive section. I want you to notice the floor in this shot. It's totally normal. They had some oils available. This was a great price for this container of 10W30 oil, but there's only one on the shelf. That's something that we are stocking up on, is oil for oil changes, oil filters for our cars and truck. So this is an overview of the aisle. They had more things toward the end. Those are the oil filters at the end of the aisle. This price for synthetic oil honestly is not terrible price, but they didn't really have a lot either. Take a look at those orange stickers. You're going to see those all throughout the video in empty spots. This is the clearance section. They did have a few things that were worth looking at, but mostly the clearance section is totally empty in the Rural King from Ocala, Florida. They had some belts and hoses, but the empty shelf in the middle is where they're supposed to keep the hand cleaner. Mr. Biggs likes the purple hand cleaner for when he's been working out in the garage. They did have quite a supply of shop towels, which was nice to see, but as you can see, there's those orange stickers again, and there's no hand cleaner. They did have this supply of water, 99 cents a gallon, great price, not a lot there. We haven't started hurricane season yet, so if you need it, I would suggest you get it. In my recent video, First Things to Disappear in SHTF, I listed containers, gas containers, water containers. These containers are a decent price. $50 for the metal and under $30 for water and gas. Those aren't actually terrible prices, so if you need them, they had plenty at Rural King. They had tools on this shelf and also tie downs, ratchet straps, things like that. They had a lot of ratchet straps on the end cap, but not a lot in the actual aisle. Look at the floor in this shot. All is well, nothing unusual. This is the toolbox section. Mr. Biggs may be looking for a larger toolbox in the future, but they only had a few to choose from. This isn't a necessity item, but still. In this shot, we're going to start noticing the floors. See where the shelves have been pushed back and the concrete is a different color because they're moving the shelves to make wider aisles. Here's most of the DeWalt stuff. And again, see that space on the floor? That is very interesting, and I didn't notice it until I went back to start editing. In this tool area, they've painted the back and made the packaging the same colors so that it doesn't appear that the shelf is that empty, but looking a little deeper, I was kind of shocked to see how low they were on just little packaged items, wood bits and screwdrivers and things that you would use to fill a man's toolbox, or a woman for that matter. Same here with the blue. It just seems like the area is more full than what it actually is. Here's some more drill bits, wood bits, hole bits, things that would round out a decent toolbox. They're just nowhere to be found, and we're seeing more of those little orange stickers. This is the shot where I really started noticing the floor and how far apart the aisles are. If you look at the beginning of the video, the shoe aisles are still very close together. That whole shelf has obviously been moved. Another thing I mentioned in First Things to Disappear in SHTF are hand tools. And this is obvious. Look, these are where they're supposed to keep the hammers and hand tools. Empty. This section is wrenches, vices, and things you would need to do a lot of farm and homesteading chores. The aisle is looking pretty bare. Next up is drill bit sets, little wrench sets, things that are great to give men and ladies for Christmas, like little stocking stuffer kits and things like that. We decided we need to focus on organizing what we have. This is light bulbs, and I know a lot of people have light bulbs on their First Things to Disappear in SHTF. I don't doubt it. Look at the supply of light bulbs. Another thing that stuck out to me is the floor. You can tell they've pushed the shelves farther apart. Here's some more gas cans. They had gas cans in places where they didn't really belong all over the store. They're large, they take up a lot of space, and I can see where this would be a great strategy. I hadn't thought about duct tape disappearing during SHTF, but I'm definitely picking up a couple of rolls soon because they had almost no duct tape on the shelf. The cleaner section actually looked great compared to some of the other sections in the store. This is the outdoor cleaning, like if you wanted to clean your house or your barn or whatever, and deck wash looked good. Even Mr. Biggs was super surprised by this aisle. This is where they have the caulking and paint supplies. The stock level is grim in this area. He was really thinking about getting some caulking for the bathtub and just putting it away just in case. The caulking spatulas and drywall tools, things like that, decent supply. The paint supplies were also very low. I know Rural King isn't the typical store where you would buy painting supplies. This is the pest control area. Pest control is going to be a big ticket item once SHTF happens. The paint supplies, it looks like they had got a delivery. Mr. Biggs is always on the lookout for spray paint for his projects, and he was pleased to see that they had gotten a delivery. Here is my second favorite aisle, the seed aisle. They had loads of seeds. I was really happy to see how many seeds and the variety of different plants that they had available at Rural King. How are seed supplies in your area? Let me know in the comments down below. Mr. Biggs is obsessed with growing corn, and so he's always picking up different varieties of corn, seeing what will grow for him and what might not. I can't just leave Rural King with no seeds, so we decided to get some turnips on this trip. The next aisle over is garden hoses and things you would need for irrigation. Not too many orange tickets here, but you do still see some. The fertilizer aisle. Fertilizer is a really big issue for me and has been for months as I've been talking about nitrogen shortages and the upcoming fertilizer shortages with the 2022 planting season. We went ahead and got all of our fertilizer for 2022 and 2023 garden. Mr. Biggs didn't think that this was as big of a deal as I did, but I totally understand what's going on here and what this means and how it will impact. See all the orange tickets in the fertilizer? Do you know what those orange tickets are? Let me know in the comments down below. Also, looking at the floor in this area of the store, It is totally normal. There's none of that different marking on the concrete, so this shelf has not been moved. This is axes and other like hand yard tools, rakes, things like that. Those were one of the items that I thought would go first in SHTF that I mentioned in my video. Not super sure what actually goes in this aisle, but it's pretty grim as far as stock goes. This shelf has not been moved. The floor is the same color as the rest of the store. Now we're going to move into animal feed and cow feed, horse feed, rabbit food, things like that you would buy in bulk. There was hardly any. They haven't had chips in weeks for bedding. It says nobody beats our pricing, but they didn't have any for sale of the $4.99 chips that you would put down in a horse stall, or we use them for the chicken pen. They had none and haven't had any in at least 2 months every time we've gone. This is a section of corn and chicken feed, dog food. They had a lot of pallets of food, but they weren't very stocked up, not like we were used to seeing even a couple of months ago. This section is like puppy milk, kitty milk, things like that. And then cat treats, the wet cat food, grim. And look at all of those orange tickets. Mr. Biggs and I think that the orange tickets may mean that they are not able to order that item anymore. I don't know if I'll be able to get wet cat food in the future for my outdoor kitties. I really hope this is something that I can keep up with, but for right now, I have a small supply. Prescription dog food and like the science diet dog foods, dogs that need that will get very sick if they don't have it. So that's something, if you need it, you got to stock up on it. Regular cat food, they had plenty of the dry cat food. I just bought 30 pounds of kitten caboodle cat food for Tink and Six, the outdoor cats. So we were pretty stocked up. The kitten caboodle cat food that I normally buy was $40 for the big, huge bag at Rural King, which isn't really a bad price. A year ago, this whole section would have been completely full, including the upper rack. And if you notice, they had nothing on the upper shelves in this area for cat food. Mr. Biggs honestly was pretty shocked by the level of pet food throughout all of Rural King. He was thinking that I was exaggerating about lack of pet food, but when he saw it himself, he realized that this is actually a problem for people to find quality pet food for their pets. Now we moved into the dog food area, which was hit and miss. If you wanted dog food, fine, no problem. We're seeing orange stickers, especially on the top. And then if you were looking for a certain brand of dog food, especially kind of the middle grade dog food, they didn't have a whole lot of selection. Do you have pets at home? What kind of dog or cat food are you looking for? And also, are you able to find what you need? Are you stocking up? Let me know in the comments down below. There used to be a vet office at this location of Rural King, but they had to close. Here's a picture of the sign that they had on the door. Rounding the corner in the pet food area, just more of the same, a lot of gaps and empty spaces. My recommendation is, if you haven't thought about stocking up for your furry family members, that now is the time to do it. Go ahead and put up a couple of extra bags of pet food. I know that my outdoor kitty cats get a spoonful of wet food every morning, and I'm just not going to be able to do that anymore for them. They do get their dry food, but the wet food, I can't find it, and I don't want to take away from a cat that needs it. I know some cats can't eat dry food at all, and mine are both perfectly healthy and can eat it just fine. I started looking for canning supplies in the middle of the store. Most of the middle aisles in the store looked like this. I don't know why you would ever pay this amount of money for some Great Northern beans. Just buy them dry and soak them yourself. In the canning section, they did have some canners. That was great to see. They had wide mouth lids with bands only, no actual plain lids. They filled it with juices. I don't really know what's supposed to go there. pickles and barbecue sauce, things like that. Then this is one of the other middle aisles. I don't see any orange tags, but I do see quite a bit of low stock. Look at the price on that apple cider vinegar. Then more empty shelves where you can see they're trying to just fill with whatever they have. Did find some canning jars, and these jars are only the jelly jar size. They didn't have any pints or quarts. They also had a few cases of the tiny jars. That was pretty much it. I did spy this peanut butter. You'd do better to get it at Aldi or Walmart. Vinegar, I just wanted to grab some basic prices for everybody. And of course, no trip to Rural King would be complete without checking out the old-fashioned candy. You guys know that I am obsessed with taking pictures of these drink coolers at the front of the store where the cash registers are. I just find it fascinating. I got Mr. Biggs these organizing things for his socket sets. He has a whole drawer of sockets, and we decided that organizing them would be the best use of the resources we have. Thank you so much for watching and staying until the end of the video. That was pretty crazy. The editing, going back and realizing that they had pushed the shelves back because the concrete was a different color, that was pretty shocking for me. Definitely lit that fire under me to get the things that I need for 2022-2023 seasons in jars, on the shelves, in my possession, physical possession, and to turn my fiat currency into actual tangible goods. Thank you again, and remember everybody, I'd rather be a year early than a day late, and I think that year is coming into like 6 months to 3 months early, or a day late. Now it's baby chick time. Here is a tour of all of the little baby chicks that they had at Rural King. This is my favorite part of the whole store, and no trip to Rural King is complete without checking out the little babies. They had a ton of different breeds of chicks and a lot of variety. They had straight run, they had just hens, they had anything that you could possibly want. I'll put on some music for you now and let you enjoy.